YouTube, what's going on? It's Jamar back from Vegas Scents. In this video, I'm giving my final thoughts on Fragrance World's Suits. And as you know, this is the clone from Fragrance World of YSL Tuxedo. And before I get started with the video, just want to ask, if you're brand new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Also leave a like and a comment below. And also, again, please share the video if you find the information helpful. So this particular fragrance, I bought this fragrance, I don't know, probably about a month or so ago. It may have even been less than that. And I did have the Maison Alhambra, the Tux, which I had that for months now. And up until that point, pretty much Maison Alhambra's the Tux, that was like the go-to clone for YSL Tuxedo. You know, so much to the point where now pretty much if you do find the Tux in stock anywhere, it's normally going to run probably, I don't know, about $40 to $50+ for that particular fragrance. So it definitely has gotten a lot of popularity in terms of, you know, being a really good clone of Tuxedo. Now, I actually was on the Oud Store website probably about a month or so ago, and I was looking for the Divine Asylum, the Elysium clone. And what I like to do is just kind of periodically, I go through their whole list, especially their list of Fragrance World fragrances, because I really think that Fragrance World is one of the better kind of fragrance clone houses out there. So I just looked through the whole selection of Fragrance World, clones on their site, and I saw this fragrance, and I'm like, I haven't heard or seen anything about Fragrance World Suits. So picked this fragrance up, and as I stated in the comparison video between YSL Tuxedo, this, and the Tux, this one to me was definitely the better smelling fragrance between this and the Tux. This, once the fragrances dried down, this one to me definitely seemed to be a lot more closer to the way, you know, YSL Tuxedo actually smells than what the Tux does. And in this video, I'm going to maintain that notion. This definitely, in the dry down, is identical in my opinion to YSL Tuxedo. Now, the main difference, and I mean it's a very short-lived difference between these two fragrances, are the immediate opening when you first spray them on. So when you first spray Tuxedo on, you can definitely tell that the violet leaf, the violet leaf and the bergamot are definitely a lot higher quality, or I don't necessarily even want to say a lot higher quality. They just smell a lot better and more distinguishable in the original YSL Tuxedo. They smell really crisp, really fresh, whereas with the YSL Suits, it does kind of get to that point probably after like the first 20 to 30 seconds or so. But like if you spray YSL Suits on and you go right in, it's not going to smell exactly like the immediate opening. And again, I'm talking about like probably that first 30 seconds to a minute of YSL Tuxedo. Suits is not going to smell as close to Tuxedo. And definitely the Tux by Maison Alhambra, I think, is what smelled a little bit closer to YSL Tuxedo in the immediate opening than the Tux. And even at this point, yeah, the violet leaf is just, it's a little bit better. The violet, I'm getting like the violet leaf, the coriander and black pepper, The Tux, I'm not getting as much black pepper from in the immediate opening. And also the violet leaf in the Tux, it doesn't seem to be as strong as what it is in YSL Tuxedo. So that, like I said, those are the main differences that I get between these two fragrances. Are in the opening, Suits will not smell exactly like Tuxedo, but where Suits does start to smell exactly like Tuxedo is pretty much once they start to dry down. So once you get out of that kind of opening phase of the fragrance, from like the mid to the dry down to the far dry down, pretty much, this smells exactly like YSL Tuxedo, exactly like it. And the thing also is, the thing that I noticed with YSL Tuxedo, at least on my skin anyway, is probably after about, let's say, 5.5 to 6 hours or so of wearing YSL Tuxedo on my skin, that definitely starts to fade away. It's still there. Like, I definitely do get 8+ hours out of the YSL Tuxedo, but I get over 12 hours with Fragrance World Suits. And once you get to that 6-hour mark with both of these particular fragrances, the main difference that I noticed was this was considerably stronger at like that, at around that 6 to 7 hour mark than what YSL's Tuxedo was. YSL's Tuxedo was still like, it basically was turning into like a really faint skin scent at that point. Now it does, still kind of linger on past that, but this was not a skin scent even at 6 hours. I can't necessarily say that it was like heavily projecting, but I mean, I do get like pretty decent projection out of this one for, I mean, at this point now, probably about 2.5 to almost 3 hours. And like I said, even on skin, like, this is a fragrance that if I spray this on at night, I can still smell this on my skin the next morning when I wake up, So this one, man, is definitely a really good fragrance. With the Tux, I didn't get, that type of performance where it was like a next day type of scent. I didn't get that at all from Maison Alhambra's The Tux, really even on clothes. So, I haven't, every time that I've worn this particular fragrance, I haven't really sprayed it too much on clothes. So I would only assume that this would pretty much stay on your clothes until you wash them. But like I said, definitely on skin, this is a 12+ hour fragrance easily. All right. So like I said, projection on this one, pretty decent for like the first 2.5 to 3 hours. Longevity, 12+ hours. Definitely smells identical to YSL Tuxedo in the dry down. This gets, that patchouli note that Maison Alhambra's The Tux kind of lacked, in my opinion. This definitely gets that down. And like I said, I can't really pick up on really any differences in the dry down between this and the original. All right. So I would definitely recommend that before the popularity possibly grows for this particular fragrance, to pick this one up, because I think right now really the only sites that have this particular fragrance are like the Oud store, Banadier, I think maybe Frag Bar has this. I'm not 100% sure. But this definitely is not as readily available as like what the Maison Alhambra's The Tux was, where you could even buy that like on Amazon. So definitely, man, pick this one up. It is like around $50, I think, on the Oud store. So I mean, it is a more expensive fragrance, but I've seen a lot of people who have purchased, like, for instance, Roca's Mustache, which, from what I understand, that one is kind of like its own fragrance and not really close to Tuxedo at all. So, I think if you're willing to pay Roca's mustache, price for a fragrance, then this is definitely worth the price, because again, this pretty much, once the fragrance dries down, is identical to YSL's Tuxedo. All right. So let me know, have you smelled the original YSL Tuxedo? Also, have you smelled this particular fragrance? Definitely this particular fragrance is one that I wish that I could kind of wear more. In my opinion, I think that this is more so kind of suited for like those fall and kind of winter months, and probably even the spring. But this is definitely not one that I necessarily would wear in high heat. And at least out here in Las Vegas, I would say about 6 months out of the year are, pretty much between like 90 to, 100 plus degrees, So, unfortunately, I can't really wear this fragrance year round. But, for some people who live in, different climates, you may be able to get more use out of this one, especially like if you live on like the northeast of the United States, you'll definitely be able to get good use out of this one. All right. So go ahead and check it out, man. That's Fragrance World's Suits. Like I said, you can pick this one up from oudstore.com for about $50. And again, if you found the information in this video helpful, go ahead and share the video. Also, leave a like and a comment below, and please subscribe to the channel. That's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.